The secrets you need to know when building your property portfolio. Property has consistently been one of the safest investment vehicles in the world for about 1,000 years now. So, well, I don't think I really need to sell why property to you, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But let's get started with some not so well-known things you need to be putting in place. So first of all, start with the end in mind. And this is one of those things that you talk about quite a lot, but actually you don't really get specific with it. So, in order to know that you are winning or losing, you need to know the end goal. Like running a marathon. Just because you run 26.2 miles does not mean that you have run a marathon. You need to go in a certain direction to get to the finish line. And often I see it so much where people in property, they want to do well, they really work hard, whatever they're doing, but they don't know where they're going in the first place. So this is your opportunity to get smart. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, i.e. you have got a time scale, because remember, a goal without a timeline is just a dream. So we need those SMART goals. You can measure this on cash flow. I want to hit £2,500 a month. Cash flow. I want financial freedom defined by £5,000 a month. The next thing is start with the money. The next big mistake that I notice is people, just because you're in property, think that property is the business, and it's not. Okay, property is the commodity that you're looking at. It's like you having, you work your job, you earn a couple of 100,000, and then you put it in the FTSE 100. You don't suddenly go, I'm a stockbroker. I'm into stockbroking. It's like, no, you're not. You're an investor, and the commodity is stocks or gold or coffee or, in this case, property. Okay, so when we're looking at this, understand the next step isn't the property, it's the money. How are you funding your portfolio? Like, if this is your goal, how much money do you need to get there, and how are you funding it? It could be your personal finance, could be bridging, could be joint ventures, could be mortgage, whatever it is, get things in place to make sure that you've got the money to accelerate you on that journey. So now that you know your goals and how you're going to get there financially, now you start looking for the properties. And this is going to depend on your experience and, of course, how much time you've got. So if you don't have a lot of time, most people go on Rightmove, maybe letting agents, talk to estate agents, and that can be okay. But it's really difficult when you've got a full-time job, because how many estate agents do you know that work in the evenings and on the weekends? It's actually quite rare that they're really taking that time. So you need to be thinking to yourself, well, what can you do to get access in your hours that you're able to work? Well, this is where direct to vendor ads come in. So it could be Facebook ads, YouTube ads, get your videos out there like this, but some of us, like myself, have a face for the radio and the voice for a newspaper. So probably not for every single person if you're nervous about that. But what about Gumtree? What about a Facebook ad with a corporate brand? Whatever it is, put money behind yourself to get yourself out there and bring the leads to you. But some of you, for example, you might go, that sounds great. I can learn how to watch these videos, set up an ad, do whatever it is. But actually, I don't have the time, the experience and connections. So that's where you might talk to a portfolio builder, which is what we actually do, by the way. So my main company, Aspire Property Group, we help people just like you to build the portfolios. And maybe that's going to be right for you, where you've got the money, maybe you've got 100 grand or more. You know you want to do this, but you just don't have all of those things. And by the way, if that is you, put APG in the comments. That stands for Aspire Property Group. I'll reply with a link, and we can book in a free one-to-one strategy session, and maybe I can figure out where you're at, where you want to get to, and if we can be a part of that journey. So put APG in the comments if that's for you. But all of this is going to depend on where you're at. If you've got all the time in the world, maybe you want to get proper education around it and really delve in, make sure you're utilizing the time. If you're in the middle, maybe you want to do some ads and set that up, maybe talk to estate agents. Or if you're on the other extreme, where actually you're doing well at your job, you're earning good money, you want to focus on earning your money, and somebody else like Aspire APG can get your money working hard for you. It's really going to depend on the spectrum that you're you're at. One thing you need to know within this is what types of property are you looking at? So in Aspire, what we do is we talk about the target criteria, and this is what we look at. So first of all, we look at the type of property. We specifically focus on 2 to 4 bed freehold houses, typically semi-detached or terrace properties, because we find that's going to get the best tenant and the best capital growth in our area. The next is the area. We analyze the area so that we're not trying to get the cheapest property in the cheapest area. We're trying to get a great property in a great area at the right price, because we know it's going to make you a lot more money and us a lot more money in the long term. A key part of that is the R, which is regeneration. We're looking for artificially increasing that capital growth. So forced capital growth. Yes, you've got the basic economics of supply versus demand, but what's going to do it? For example, in Leeds, we've got the South Bank development, 350 football pitches of residential development going on. That is going to push up the area. Hospitals, schools, new motorways, everything. Regeneration really puts towards it. Next is G, what growth have we got going on? This is all about the basic logistics of how it's all connecting. Next is the E, existing property. I'm not knocking new build properties. I like developing myself, but I do not believe in off-plan investments. I think they're a smokescreen loads of the times, and a lot of developers are shit. Being blunt, there are some good ones out there, there really are, and if you're one of them, fair play to you. But a lot of them, and I'd say 90%, they go bust, they under-deliver, overprice the developments, and never do the fucking snagging they're meant to in the first 12 months. But as you can see, I'm not particularly passionate about that. So I focus on existing properties, which is the E, and then it's the tenant type. I am looking for the tenants to make your house their home. And that's our target criteria. So it's just an acronym that really ties it all together for us. But ultimately, it's what are you really looking for is a desirable home in a location that somebody wants to live in and pay you for it in the meantime. The next thing is thinking of the management of your portfolio. I think this is really important. So some people, they obsess about like 50, 60 quid that could be going in my pocket. And it's like, yeah, you have no idea. And trust me, I know this because I now own a management company, a lettings company, and it's a fucking nightmare. It's so much legislation, over 100 pieces of legislation that seems to be more and more and more and more that comes into play. And ultimately, if you want to deal with that, cool, go do it. But even if you're somebody that's spending your time building your portfolio, you want to go full time in property, why the fuck would you do it? Spend your time on management for 50, 60 quid a month when you could spend those hours actually finding another deal that's going to be amazing for you. So outsource, baby. You know, give it to a management agent that's one of the best in the area. They've got access to Rightmove. They can qualify the tenants. They can make sure you're compliant to everything, which I promise you, you do not know everything in there. So much around it. And for the fact that it's like 10% of your rental income, and they only make money from you when it's rented, I just think it's an absolute no-brainer, all right? So again, if you're using somebody like me, there's a few of us out there, by the way, but APG, we do a full end-to-end. So the reason I actually ended up taking on management is so that I could control the quality that we're delivering to our clients. So we find it, negotiate it, get the finance, get the legals, get it refurbished, and now we manage it at the end. So we do a full end-to-end process. So as I said, if you are one of those that's watching where you're thinking, do you know what? I don't really want to put in that time, energy. I haven't got the contacts, experience, or the effort to put into this, then put APG in the comments and we can help you out. But actually, this is about where you're at on your journey, your goals, the finance you've got available, the time you want to put in, and your long-term aspirations. So if you're on one end and you want that financial freedom, you're going to be putting APG in there. And if you're somebody where you're like, no, I'm ready to hustle, I want to go in, then you're going to be subscribing to the channel, hopefully hitting the notification bell, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.